Hey guys, how's it going? Back for another weekend update. Before we really get into everything, one note, make sure to go check out the June giveaway video for a chance to win the 3 screw kits as well as the pit map from Screw Loose Hardware. Again, there's 3 full screw kits here, all with like 650 pieces each, plenty of hardware to last you quite a while. So make sure you go check out that video, comment on it, and get in on the giveaway. So trying to find the best format for these weekend updates. Now, I definitely like to do the new parts that roll into the shop, and I think that's something that will allow me to show you guys what's coming in and things that are new, even though that I may not have the use for them right away. But something I would also like to do is if you guys have questions for me that you would like me to elaborate on that maybe isn't as easy for me to reply to in a comment below, simply comment with that question, and then I'll try to get to that during the next weekend update. So feel free to throw suggestions or anything like that in there. Questions, comments, anything like just to know more about as far as anything I do down here in the shop or anything that I can tell you. So throw that in there, and hopefully we can find and make these videos the best and the most interesting that we can. So in the last video I talked about what was all going on this month and things like that, saying that I had an event this weekend. Well, ended up we got rained out. It's getting moved to next weekend, which I won't be able to make. So that whole cleanup effort and going through the truck that I was making sure that I was going to get done, I didn't get it done, but it's not really going to matter because I don't get to run it right now anyway. In the meantime, though, I did start working on some other things as well as some of those parts that came in. I'm going to kind of go over just a few things laying around over here. You will notice a couple of things that are obvious, such as this little guy here, a little Latrax rally car. Now, I'm not usually much of a Traxxas guy or anything like that, but this will be a different little endeavor for me. Myself, Evil Villain RC, as well as Howard, who's always over here, as well as our friend John. All of us do the RC CarCast podcast that we have here on YouTube, iTunes, Podbean, blah, blah, blah. You can get it all in there. But anyway, the 4 of us decided to pick up one of these little guys. We were able to get them for about 99 bucks at dealer cost. And we're going to just go have some fun racing them on the RCP foam track. And I'm sure as we go, we'll upgrade things here and there. And just something to have some fun with. I broke mine before I drove it for the first time. I decided to be a noob and start racking the steering back and forth by the wheels, and ended up breaking the servo before its tires touched the pavement. I fixed that though, and I'll get into some of that with my video specifically on this little guy. So if you're into that type of thing, watch out for it later. Now, some of the other little parts and pieces sitting here on the bench. Last video, I talked to you about the Unimog that I was going to build. Now, I've decided that is going to be a Class 1 Unimog. But the whole goal that I'm going to go for is a super lightweight rig. I'm going to hit that 4-pound range, and I'm positive that I can hit in that 4-pound range. We'll just see all the little things that I do to get there. But I've got plenty of little ideas that I plan on, little things that I used to do for comp rigs and things like that. So some of those parts have started to roll in, and some of them are just the parts that I'm going to use to build it in the first place. Like always, I've got a set of RC Bros Burley tubes here. You guys have seen me use these before. I'm going to use these in a slightly different way than I have before. I'm actually going to use these in a stock width configuration. So if you want to see that Burley tube upgrade done while keeping that stock width, watch out for that video when that Unimog starts up. Now, while I was talking to Will over at RC Bros about the build and about getting a set of those Burley tubes, he also had a few other little things that he threw in that package for me. One is this full set here of Delrin SCX-10 style shock bodies. Fully threaded, adjustable, but machined Delrin, so a little bit nicer body. Just something that you can, little upgrades here and there. So gonna give those a shot. Along with those, he's got his own set of machined aluminum shock collars that I'm gonna use for that. Last couple little parts and pieces that came in for the Unimog anyway, are these little rubber mirrors. These are mirrors from RC 4-wheel drive, but they're just a rubber style trucker mirror type deal that I plan to use. But that rubber so that you can add detail to the body, but they won't get broke off when you slam it against something. So we'll see exactly how those work. They were super cheap, so I picked up a pair. Now, when we really get into that Unimog build and that lightweight thing, there's going to be just, cutting grams will end up cutting ounces in the end, which will hopefully get us down to that 4-pound range. One of those little things that we used to do in the comp crawler thing is change out all of the balls in your suspension links, the Revo rod ends, to these aluminum hollow balls from Traxxas. This is part number 5355X. Now, they're not cheap, but you would be surprised the weight difference between aluminum balls in the ball ends and steel balls in the ball ends. So little, again, cutting grams will cut ounces in the end. Just another few little pieces that are sitting around here and that you'll see integrated into that Unimog build later this month. Okay, another project that I've been wanting to tackle for quite a while is a gimbal setup, a brushless gimbal for the GoPro that's handheld. Something that you can hold around and walk, get those low action shots without that, jostling around, especially when we're on the rocks and ledges and things like that. And you're always trying to jump around and get a shot, and you can get a few seconds of a steady shot that you're always having to clip your videos with. But I want to build a handheld system to try and be able to get smoother, longer shots, panning shots, and things like that. Now these are some parts from Hobby King that I ordered. It's a 2-axis brushless gimbal controller and then 2 brushless gimbal motors. I've got one that's quite a bit larger than the other. Now these brushless gimbal motors are pretty simple. They've just got like a little servo lead that comes off of them, and that's all that runs them. Now I've got, like I said, one that's quite a bit bigger than the other, and that is because one is going to control the roll of the camera and the other one's going to control the pitch. And with the more weight on one motor, that's why I've got that larger motor for it. I also ordered just 2 of the smaller motors just in case. So, I've got some things to play around with here and there. This brushless gimbal controller I got off of Hobby King. I think it was about $45 or something like that. This little board is what mounts on the camera itself, or on the part that holds the camera, so it can tell the position of it. And then the board tells the motors how to adjust to then correct that roll or pitch of the camera. Looking forward to doing that little project. I've got quite a bit of design work to do, and there are some downloads and things that you can get like that if you go on like Thingiverse or GrabCAD to just pull models down. But at the same time, those guys probably aren't using the same size motors as me, or I know they're not using the same size motors I am. And so I'll look at some of those, but for the most part I'm just going to design my own and 3D print it. But we'll see exactly how this goes, and watch for that. Like I said, I'll probably have another video specifically on this little project. So watch for that here soon. This video is basically turned into what came in the shop this week, which is probably good because the work that I did do on the actual RCs this week isn't something that's really shocking to see. I've done some detail work on the Scout, trying to finish up that front grill shell. The Mega Truck for Squirrel OD is finished up as far as the chassis goes. I'm just waiting on a few axle parts to finish up those so that we can get that thing finally finished up and out to Squirrel. As far as questions and things that I got in the last video for this June update, again, go jump in on that giveaway if you haven't already. The moon buggy sitting right up there is still in the works. I'll still work on that. Just, I bounce between projects all the time. I'll get back to it though. So it is still around, and I do still plan to finish it. That's what's going on in the shop for now. Watch out for some videos on like the new projects here, the little tracks, as well as finishing up some of those other projects that have been in the shop. But that's all I got for now. So I'm gonna get back to work on some of these so I can shoot some videos specifically on them and try and get some more stuff out to you guys this week. So that's it for now, and we'll see you guys next time.